Greetings, Retro Lover. It's Ethan again, aka the Ghost Mall. I produce retrowave music, music inspired by the 1980s and the early 1990s. And if you happen to enjoy that music as much as I do, then I've got a real treat for you in this video. This is the latest episode in my series called RETROWAVE FAVES, where I bring to you 3 new songs, new releases each month from the retrowave and synthwave scenes that I personally have been listening to and have had on repeat, just in an effort to share with you some of the music that I really dig, because even though the music that we are interested in is retro in style and has an old sound to it, every month there are awesome new releases. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a romantic, super nostalgic Italo disco style synth pop kind of a tune with female vocals courtesy of Bunny X. Then a wonderfully nostalgic instrumental track from a very talented producer named Saint Duke. And finally, a really atmospheric, smooth, kind of darkly beautiful tune with synth elements and awesome male vocals from my friend Personality. So let's go ahead and get started. This is RETROWAVE FAVES for November of 2018. So thanks for being with me for another month, friends. I'm really excited to have you here for these awesome tunes. I wanted to give you my apologies for not being able to bring you an episode in October. I was busy traveling and taking care of some family matters, so I was kind of pulled away from YouTube for a minute, but that's not to say that there weren't a whole slew of awesome releases in the synthwave and retrowave scenes in October, because Halloween tends to be a time when the spooky, dark side of our synth-ness comes out. And so you might have heard that Vampire Stepdad, who's a close friend of mine and a very talented producer, came up with a new EP called Songs to Haunt a House To last month. And also, this was a great track from Vincenzo Salvia, a really talented Italo disco kind of inspired producer. This was called No Camping Here. So hopefully you got your fix of dark and sort of sinister synth music for Halloween, and now it's November, and if you're like me and the weather is turning colder, you might want some sort of warm, nostalgic tunes to keep you warm as the seasons get colder. So that's what I'm going to bring you in this episode, and let's get started with our first track from the wonderful Bunny X. So Bunny X is a Italo disco inspired and synthwave style duo from New York City, consisting of Abigail Gordon and Mary Hanley. And I've been enjoying their music for quite some time now. They work with a variety of producers in their local area to kind of really come up with a very authentic sounding, pure 80s inspired kind of synth pop, Italo disco kind of a style. And they do it wonderfully with, being a duo with 2 female vocalists. This particular song is called Come Back, and it was co-produced by Miles Maxwell along with the ladies from Bunny X. And I just really fell in love with this completely when I heard it. It's super romantic. The sonics are amazing. The vocals are amazing. The lyrics are really evocative. So I hope you will enjoy this song. And just so you know, if you are ever in the New York City area, I encourage you to go ahead and check out Bunny X's official website, because they play live sometimes, and it might be a cool thing to catch one of their shows. Let's hop into this song, one of my favorites actually from this entire year in the retro-inspired scenes. It's Come Back from Bunny X. Has that classic pulsing Italo disco synth bass line and some wonderfully atmospheric pad sounds. I just can't help but be taken back in time listening to this song.
Your call, 'cause I never heard back from you.
There are definitely some relatable lyrics in this song. I think great love songs resonate because we've all been there before.
But the way I feel about you tonight, among the neon lights, I can't stop dreaming.
Some really lovely harmonies from the two ladies in Bunny X there.
If you could only read my mind.
They're an excellent duo because their voices blend so nicely together.
You should come back, share the night with me. I think you should come back. I think you should come back. Why would you ever wanna leave?
They really wrote the perfect chorus.
How did I get it so wrong? Thought the time was right.
And hats off to the production on this. Some amazing drum sounds. Some, like I said, really warm synth pads. And that classic analog synth bass just anchoring the track.
Forgot to read the lines. But the way I feel about you tonight, among the neon lights, I can't stop dreaming.
The song is so up my alley, the kind of thing that I really try to write and that inspires me to make retro style music. So kudos to y'all. Really great song. Wonderful breakdown here.
I think you should come back, share the night with me.
If you ever slow danced to a 80s synth pop ballad, then I'm sure you're feeling the same feels I do when I listen to this song.
I think you should come back, share the night with me. I think you should come back. I think you should come back. What would you ever wanna leave?
Just such a beautiful blend of vocals and instruments in this tune. Wonderful sonics. All right, there you have it. Our first tune for RETROWAVE Faves for November 2018 was Come Back by Bunny X. I just love that song. It's so emotional. It really takes me back in time, like I said. And it really goes to show that, sometimes I hear complaints about retrowave music or synthwave music that a lot of it might be a little bit soulless or emotionless, especially because there is such a great number of instrumental tunes, maybe fewer vocal tracks, and some people prefer it that way. But for those of you who think that maybe there isn't enough really quality songwriting and really emotional music in the retro-inspired scene, I think that this song is a perfect example of the opposite of that. It definitely makes me feel something, so I hope it did for you as well. And of course, just before moving on to our second track for the month, as always, I will include links in the description to this video so that you can stream and download, where available, the songs and find out more about the artists. I encourage you to follow them on all their social media if you can, because if you like these songs as much as I do, then you're not going to want to miss out on what these artists do next. Bunny X has quite a number of singles here on their Bandcamp page, and a lot of songs that I really personally enjoy. Come Back is my favorite, but I also love Stay and Hit Show. And one of their first tracks released on Bandcamp, Berlin in December, has such a purely 80s vibe to it. It sounds as if it could have been actually produced in the 1980s. So please go ahead and check out Bunny X's Bandcamp page. Give them a couple downloads, and I'm sure you're going to love what you find there. All right, next up, I'm really excited to bring you a tune from somebody who I've been following for several years now. Both he and I entered the sort of retro and synth inspired music scenes around the same time in 2014. This is Saint Duke, a really talented producer, composer who I think has a tremendous gift for melody and brings a lot of variety to his productions. So I was talking to Saint Duke after uncovering this tune that I'm going to share with you for this month called Homecoming Queen, and sort of listening back to a bunch of the tunes on his page that I've liked previously. And he explained to me that he's kind of inspired by a combination of 80s pop music and also soundtrack music, which really resonates with me because that's exactly where I'm coming from, a combination of 80s pop. We talked about acts like Kate Bush and Phil Collins and the like, and also soundtrack stuff from our favorite movies and TV shows of the era. And I think that he captures that synergy really well because it's melodic music, but it's also got a real soundtracky vibe to it some of the times. As I said, St. Duke has been producing retro inspired music since about 2014. He, like me, does most of his productions in the box in a digital audio workstation in his computer. And it really is amazing that you can capture a sound of a bygone era today using tools like software in your own computer at home. But he does it, and it's something that I aspire to as well. Now, I quickly wanted to let you know that St. Duke has a couple of really exciting things either out recently or coming out soon, in addition to the track I'm going to share with you. So he has a couple new uploads since Homecoming Queen on his SoundCloud page. His latest release is with a vocalist called Makino Sora, and it's called Never Letting Go. I'm really hyped for this. It's an awesome song, so please go check it out. You can be one of the first to hear it. Also, his previous instrumental track before that, Aerobics, is really awesome. But the tune I want to share with you today is called Homecoming Queen. Now, he also let me know that pretty soon he's going to be releasing a sort of a mini album called Modern Vintage via Spotify and Bandcamp. So right now his Bandcamp, it doesn't look like it's online. I think it's being brushed up a little bit for the release of the upcoming short album. But please go ahead and follow St. Duke here on SoundCloud, and you'll definitely be able to be one of the first to know when he drops that album very soon. So let's go ahead and jump into Homecoming Queen, another nostalgic and super evocative track, again, from a producer who I really admire. You can see what I mean about St. Duke's gift for melody, because that chimey bell part is a really simple yet really memorable kind of melody. He makes it a little groovier here. Some great drum sounds, very retro, and awesome drum programming. I've said it before in a number of videos. I love music that has a combination of a groove you can dance to and some great atmosphere to it at the same time. And this song definitely captures those two things in equal parts, I think. You can kind of tell just from this one track what I was saying earlier is that St. Duke brings a lot of variety to his music. He doesn't keep you in one place for too long. He's always taking you somewhere new and interesting with each movement of the tune. I've said it before, part of the appeal of 80s aesthetics to me was a sort of elegance to things, and I feel like this song really captures that, a kind of sense of elegance and, I don't know, high class to it. Homecoming Queen is a pretty appropriate title, I think. And he reprises that little synth arp there. Wonderful synth textures in this song. Absolutely terrific tune. That was Homecoming Queen from St. Duke. As I said, please go ahead and give him a follow here on SoundCloud. He has several new tracks that are equally awesome just since the release of Homecoming Queen, and a new album coming out soon, going to hit Bandcamp and Spotify. And please go ahead and give him a follow because you don't want to miss that when it does come out. Okay, and last but definitely not least on the hit parade of new retro tunes for November of 2018 is a tune coming from my friend Personality. He is an incredibly gifted singer-songwriter with retro synth elements in his music, also a terrific vocalist, an awesome lyricist, and somebody who I think captures this balance of dark but beautiful in his music that I've always really enjoyed. You know, back in the day, my first band was sort of an ethereal, dark wave, maybe gothic influenced kind of a band, and I always loved this balance between dark and beautiful, or the music that brought out the concept that things that were dark could be beautiful. And I think Personality captures that in his songs really well. I get a bit of a vintage Depeche Mode vibe from some of his music, and it's not surprising then to find out that over here on his Bandcamp page, which again, I'll link up in the description, he has a cover of Stripped by Depeche Mode. Terrific. He has so many great songs, it's hard to know where to start. This Won't Last Forever is maybe my favorite, How I Discovered Him, but Does It Make You Happy is wonderful, I Want You, and then, of course, his latest release, this tune called Greenbelt Park. So if you like music that is a little bit dark, but also beautiful, nostalgic, retro, has synth elements, vocals, I hope you'll really dig this one because I think Personality is incredibly gifted, and I invite you to check out more of his music on SoundCloud and Bandcamp because you won't be disappointed at all. One thing I love about Personality's music is the restraint he has. He never goes over the top. He just introduces things at the right time, not too much.
And I know how it goes when you come this way. I don't mind, have the time to waste on you. Yeah, I know how it goes. I've been here a while.
I love how he brings that sort of breakbeat kind of drum pattern in to contrast the smooth legato pads and his smooth vocals. Incredible contrast. Such great atmosphere. And another thing that Personality does really well is, obviously he's a gifted vocalist with great delivery, but he also crafts really cool vocal sounds with his mixing, and it's really impressive. This is the kind of music you can just drift away to. It's very dreamy. He has such great taste for these little bits of ear candy in his arrangements.
Yeah.
Another thing he does really well with his arrangements is a build. From the beginning of the song to the end, it always grows dynamically so well. Some awesome and really eerie vocal harmonies in there. He sort of bookends the song with the same lyrics that started the song. Excellent. Super impressive and atmospheric work there from Personality, one of my favorite producers making synth and retro inspired music these days. That's Greenbelt Park. All right. So, again, I really encourage you to go out and check out the music from all of these artists if you have the opportunity. As I said, links to their streaming platforms and where you can download the music will be in the description to this video. But just to recap, we had the wonderfully warm, nostalgic, and romantic tune Come Back from Bunny X. We had the terrific, melodic, nostalgic instrumental Homecoming Queen from St. Duke. And we had the darkly beautiful tune Greenbelt Park from Personality. All right, my retro friend, thank you for tuning in for another month of RETROWAVE Faves. I hope that you discovered some new music to love in this episode. I really appreciate you coming into my home studio and hanging out with me. This is a really fun kind of show for me to make because not only do I get to just kick back and listen to some jams that I love and sort of nerd out about them with you all, and I get to share that with people who might enjoy it and also spread the word about these artists who maybe aren't getting the attention that I think they deserve, because all three of these folks and everybody else who I've had the honor of sharing on this series are folks who I think they can't get enough attention. They're super talented producers, composers, songwriters, singers, etc. So thanks for listening. And if you did enjoy this video, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. As I said, I try to make a new episode of RETROWAVE Faves featuring 3 new songs each month. And in addition to that, I do all kinds of other retro wave related things on the channel. I show you behind the scenes looks at me producing my tunes. I talk to you about the songwriting process, how I get retro sounds in the box in a modern computer audio workstation. I talk about what it's like to be a musician and matters that affect musicians. So if you're a musician yourself, you might enjoy that. But if you're just a retrowave music fan, I hope you will stay tuned as well. Please feel free to like this video if you like it, share it if you know someone else who would dig these songs. And until the next one, I hope you'll be well, keep it retro, and take it easy, guys.